Good morning, everyone. This is your reading for April 21st. Actually, political first. Your reading will be right after. And I'll cover both with the astrology as well. So, what can we expect to be happening politically Monday, April 21st, 2025? And I have allowed for reversals. Right there. That's interesting. Okay, so with the Knight of Cups in the morning, it's possible that I think this has to do with the Democrats giving us different perspectives and ways to think, different opportunities to move forward in a way that is much more cohesive with a better flow. We also have the Knight of Wands and the Moon reversed. Okay. Hey, so with the Knight of Wands being the theme for the day, it's a high energy day. I think they, on the news, I'm sure, and I'm sure Rachel Maddow will cover it, tonight. All the protests, right? All the action. All the fire that was out there through the people. Mars and Leo, that's what we've got going on. Now, also with the combo here in the morning with the Knight of Cups, this could be a kind of a bit of feeling like, all right, now the Democrats, if they can rally together and really push, then again, it's hard to overcome both chambers. The big problem in the GOP is little elf on the shelf, as Lori calls him, over at the Way of Positive Change, little Mikey Johnson. Now, he can be taken out with a vote of no confidence, but until the enough other GOP members are in the House and Senate are willing to do that, it's just not, it's not going to happen. So maybe there's a lot, because I do read directionally, and the theme for the day is to move towards this Knight of Cups with a lot of power and a lot of passion. So the Knight of Cups can be kind of like our knight in shining armor. Well, there's no way that's happening with the GOP, so this has to be the Democratic Party as well as this card. And that was what I was feeling into when I was shuffling. I kept, hearing Democrats. So the cards did show up that way. Now, the Moon reversed, that puts us in a place where anxiety is lifting, fear is lifting, but still some people are, we're all still going to be feeling unhappy. And other people, like imagine you are someone who voted for Trump and you're like, oh shit, what have I done? Maybe you didn't know. Maybe you're just brand new to politics, maybe first time voter. And now you're like seeing what he really is, because the release of information about the crazy man is truly out there. And it's been there forever. That's why we have the lobster down here to teach us about things that are, we need to be careful with and not to allow ourselves to be victimized. So the Democrats are supporting that message. And I think that's what we're going to see on the news today. So, okay, let's look at, for you guys, using the Light Seers Tarot. And hopefully if I keep these little markers here to focus on, my camera won't make noise or go blurry while I'm shuffling. But what do we need to know? How can we best use the energy of Monday, the energy and consciousness? How can we align our consciousness with the best energy of the day for Monday, April 21st? Oops. Oh, there's two that flipped over. Okay, I'm going to just take it the way. All right. Actually, I feel like it's probably better this way, but they're two majors. And the reason I feel that way is that this is more of a awakening from Dreamtime card where, you're surrendered to getting a good, hopefully a good rest and waking up with some dreams that will help guide you in the direction that you're meant to go. The Chariot has to do with staying centered, the need to stay centered and focused. But it's all about growth, being, the sign of Cancer. I almost like honestly, I almost like this one better. I'll just do that for a second while I'm getting that extra card. Because, we can see the starry canopy. We can see, this guy's not so grounded and centered up here. There's a lot of energy, but how do you maintain those horses? Now, here we have the Sphinxes that are not necessarily drawing this carriage, right? This is movement. I like this card because it shows it rules all of our vehicles and even our 2 feet and any type of other little, things that we're riding around on, if you do. And but bottom line, the main teaching of the card is the need to stay centered and know that you have the entire universe with you. And if you're focused on staying centered in the flow of your pure feelings. Now, I'm not talking about emotional reactions that are driven and say, gotta, da, 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 and I can't be late, and I'm gonna whatever, and then you can get pulled over, and this could turn out to be a cop. So be careful driving. Don't go unconscious while you're driving. Don't go unconscious with some music that gets you driving fast, because that can happen so easily, right? If you're out. And most of all, do your best to stay centered all day long, and then you'll have the opportunity to bring through something that makes you feel that you really have accomplished a good deal today. Okay, and then we have the Three of Swords. So in the afternoon, evening, I would say to be careful about. Now, if I combine these two cards together, it could be about don't allow yourself to be martyred with somebody else's cruel words. Don't allow yourself to be, don't reject yourself. Don't allow yourself to feel bad if somebody rejects you, because, that's how people are. You say one thing and then they try to say something to top whatever you said, and what it's doing is rejecting what you said, but no, they have to say something better. Right? Yeah. Or maybe you're expressing how you feel to someone, because the Chariot, being ruled by Cancer, it's all about the emotional body. Being in the pure flow keeps you focused and going forward on your path in a straight line that can meander all over the world, or all over and around and back, but it's still the line of the path that your soul is meant to go on. So who are these, like, unconscious people? I didn't allow for reversals with this deck. So if the Hanged Man had come through reversed, this could be somebody who's just coming from this unconscious, and we see that with, because, Neptune rules this card, Neptune newly in Aries. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it in my comments all the time. I block people, I delete comments, give them a second chance, all kinds of nasty stuff coming out. And it's, what it is just that it's kind of like combining Mars and Neptune together. But it's this Aries energy. We have 4 planets plus Chiron in Aries right now. And it's that just spitting words out there. And, Jupiter and Gemini doesn't help that either. So if somebody says something that's, painful to your heart, just know that they're projecting either their own insecurities or their own self-hatred onto you, or they're coming from a mental place of judging you harshly, and that's never your fault. That is never, ever your fault. There's no reason to allow that. So, you know, it could sometimes also be about indecisions. Don't allow yourself to be martyred. Don't allow anybody's conscious or unconscious words to get you going in the wrong direction, right? So, yeah. Just focus on all the love in the universe that is also inside of your heart. Focus on all the things that you love, and then you can just let those swords fall out of your heart, if there's any that have come in. And if you're talking negative thoughts, if you're thinking negative things about yourself based on like maybe a relationship with your dad, yeah, you might want to question, like, where do I get these negative thoughts, right? If they come from a past friend or loved one or family member, yeah, you can just do like Louise Hay used to say. Well, she has so many books out still, even though she's crossed over, but she used to always say, oh, thank you for sharing. And then she'd like file it in that round container over there, basically. So, okay, so the astrology for today, I left it with just the exact aspects that in tight orb, because there was an awful lot looking at it from the other direction, but I wanted to get the important stuff in first. So no matter what time you went to bed last night or what time you wake up this morning, if you catch this at midnight when I have it scheduled to be released, like I always do, the moon was still bumping up against Pluto. So for the last 2.5 days with the moon in Capricorn, we had the mood to be very self-responsible in Capricorn. We were going through our responsibility to control our time, our lives, to do the hard work. This is why we had such successful protesting. This is why people showed up all over the place, and I can't wait to watch. Like I said, Rachel Maddow and well, there'll be probably a lot of them, even starting in the morning, because she doesn't come on till later at night. But I'm doing this video on Sunday, the 20th, Easter, and there's tons on the news. On MSNBC, on my TV, but not so much, I guess I'm hearing, not so much on the website. So I think they wait until things, are produced by the newscasters, the news anchors, and then they upload to the website and to the YouTube channel. So that's how it is. It's always slower that way. But anyway, the mood from duty-bound, responsible Capricorn, and then bumping up against Pluto with the moon in Pluto, and then the moon in Aquarius. Again, I keep saying that Pluto in Aquarius, essentially in the lightest, brightest, of course it's going to be technology, and of course it's going to be freedom and revolution and things like that. Everything that, Uranus is about, because it's kind of like combining Pluto and Uranus together. But on the, just to put it in a nutshell, I feel it really is the power of humanity coming together and networking. And that is exactly what today is all about. So like I said, 5 a.m. Pacific time, you can see the moon's right there, right on the other side of Pluto. So the moon, the mood of the people, has picked up a lot of power with a lot of courage against the oligarchs and the tech bros that want to keep us down. But I'm not blaming them as much as I am Project 2025 and Trump and Vance and Russell Vogt and what's that guy, Yarvin? Was it Craig Yarvin or something like that? It's the darkness is between there and Clarence Thomas and Judge Alito. They're just it's where they're detached from the heart, right? and they think they're better than us, and that's why they get to rule, and we are their little slaves, that are just disposable. Well, you know what? Fuck that. I ain't having that noise. So anyway, Pluto with this sextile over to Neptune, this is this opportunity for the masses to wake up, smell the cat box, and say, no, I want to manifest a different reality. I want something else. And especially with today, noticing we also have the trine over here to Mars. Now that's just the exact aspect. If I put the standard in, what you would see is a cascade of trines coming down to Mars. Mars, we feel Mercury, Mars, Sun, Venus. We feel the closer planets a little more intensely, and especially the moon. You know that. So with Mars opposing Pluto, even though it's not exact today, it's 2 degrees away. That's really tight. And we did have in early morning, late last night, we had the moon opposing Mars. So that's that whenever planets are in aspect, they make connections. Just think of, so if you're trying to learn astrology, just think of the aspects as connections, and then you have to translate the connection to what? So you look at the sign, you look at the planet. The planet is, the like the mode of operation, and the signs are the kind of like the flavors, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. That's one way to say it. So anyway, Mars moves energy. In Leo, it's about the heart, and it's about courage, and it's about what the world that we want to create. It's about our creative self-expression, which every human being has a real need to do. We are co-creators, so we need to absolutely be creating something, even if it's just wonderful, yummy meals for your family, or taking care of your fur babies, or taking really good care of yourself. So whatever it is, Mars is going to energize us to do that. And then in Leo, it's going to be very courageous and outspoken, and connected to what brings more self-confidence into our being, connected to our children, often, sometimes even our fathers. The Leo is ruled by the sun, so we're in that realm. If there's any problems today, and especially with, because remember we had the Three of Swords, any problems might be about Mars and Leo, because Leo does not like, and many of us have Pluto and Leo, right? Us older generation. So we don't like not being respected. We don't like being ridiculed. We don't like not being seen and heard and understood, basically. And that's a real need. So I think that all those brave souls and all of those people who got up and got out and went and protested, I'm so grateful for them. So anyway, that's powerful. This is very, very powerful, and powerful for the people because of the moon in Aquarius. And so this is continuing on for a little while. Let me see if I can give you some dates here. So April, here, let's go. Well, that one's been there. Oh, you know what? Before I do that, I need to talk about this right here, because once I put the aspects in standard orb, it's hard to see this underneath here. So this sextile here from Neptune to Venus, this is very important because Venus is about money, relationships, the way that we make comparison values. In Pisces, we're more sensitive. We're so much more sensitive. And we want compassion, and we want unity, and we don't like anything that hurts other people. Now, it could also be that we want to just use drugs and drink. With all this Pisces energy, we have to be careful for, with overdoing it. But over here with Uranus and Taurus, Uranus, which is the change agent of enlightenment, which is also actually, even though you can't see the line yet, but you'll see it when I change the aspects, is trying to the South Node. This is until June 12th. So until June 12th, well, and even beyond, but this is, it's an exact connection going on. The information from the past is, it's there. These are facts. These are the way things happened. And more, because the South Node goes backwards, so you can see that there's an exact, trine coming in here, even though it's not here right now. I'll show you in a minute. The deal is that people are going to be more and more enlightened about the lies that Trump told in the past and what we need to do in order to protect and secure ourselves. Because the government is no longer... all the fighting the Dems are doing is great, but right now we're not safe. No one is safe. No one is safe when we're on the edge of a constitutional crisis and an autocrat, in the White House. An autocrat and a bunch of idiots, really. Liars, idiots, and autocrats is what's going on right now. So this sextile here from Uranus to Venus, how long is this in orb? Where did I thought I had that written down. Well, part of this is like blowing up because of Venus ruling money, and then Uranus tends to blow things up. This is where, there's less and less trust in USA economy due to the batshit crazy idiot in the White House. So that's something just to remember. But I can't seem to see actually, I think it might be exact on the 23rd. There's so much happening on the 23rd, actually. So just in a couple of days. So that'd be Wednesday. The aspect of the architect, let's go here to standard. See the 3 sextiles here? Well, actually, yeah, from Uranus to here to the South Node, this one will be an orb. No, wait, Saturn. Hold on. It's Saturn? Oh, yeah, that's right. Saturn to Uranus. This sextile here will be an orb until, it started yesterday, and it'll be an orb until May 25th. And I think it's May 24th or 25th. I have to check on that exactly. That Saturn moves into Aries. So, and it'll join up with Neptune as well. So structure for the masses there'll be some harsh lessons for government or government on us. We need to protect ourselves. Mercury will have moved, will be much closer to Chiron then too. So basically we're going to see Venus, we're going to see everything here move into Aries, but the North Node will remain in Pisces for, I think until July of next year. So the Virgo-Pisces polarity can be challenging because sometimes people start feeling very victimized and feeling like a slave. And this polarity bodes for it doesn't bode well for having, I guess I should just say it doesn't bode well for having work that you absolutely love, but you can get a job doing something you don't like, right? So we have to plan ahead and take care of ourselves. And then we have, you can see the moon and Pluto with the square down to the sun. Well, sun square Pluto, in 2 more days, that will be exact because Pluto's just going to sit there. Pluto's almost at 4 degrees. So we can say, from today till Thursday, it's in a tight orb. So sun square Pluto is there's the spotlight shining on whether or not we are safe within these people who are in that have quite a bit of control. And I would say no, we're not. And then we also have, if I turn it this way, I can't do that because I have this tilted. Just look here, see this square over to Mars. So the sun is in T square. Maybe if I go, yeah, that might help a little bit. Okay, so you can see Mars down here, see the square to the sun, and it's an exact square. And then you see the double square because the moon's going to move on, but right now it's affected. So today, Monday morning, a lot of people are going to be networking together, sharing information, shining a spotlight on the need for safety, security, and what are our principles. Do we believe in, Constitution, it's all about due process, right? Are we going to fight and hold on and be stubborn for the fact that due process is necessary? That's what America is all about. Yeah, we're a young nation, like about 250 years old, but hey, it's what those are the principles that our nation is founded upon. So people will be energized to courageously confront people in the power. And I feel like the internet and things are just, so much news is going to be going out, and the sun will be shining a light, most of all on trying to help people understand whether they're safe or not. Having tariffs that victimize us, that's not safe. Having a due process taken away, that's not safe. Having an autocrat in the White House who's also a liar, who's also a felon, who he had tons of due process, but he doesn't want to give that to anyone else. And that is a sure sign of a psychopath. A narcissist and a psychopath will want to have things that other people don't have. And because, that makes them special, right? So just keep that in mind. And then this aspect here, of course, is in orb for quite some time. And with Pluto in the sesquisquare with Jupiter, this is that detour kind of aspect and disruptions to people in power's plans. So we're in this really, really intense time. We're going through this intense time, but it's also the most important time, because with the square here to Jupiter and the sesquisquadrate over here, and then this opposition, all these other aspects, there's all this energy, and then we do have a couple of semi-squares over here. So all of this spells out to me, because of the connection to Jupiter in Gemini, that there's an expansion of people learning what matters most, talking, weighing decisions, going back and forth, thinking about, wait, if they can do that to them, they can do it to us. And then why are they doing that, right? Just asking questions, questioning, gathering information, and then it's going to cause disruption to people who are trying to impose their power upon the people. And people will rebel. We have rebellion all over here. This is major rebellion. And then the fear of grief and separation from loved ones and from people who don't deserve to be treated this way. And then, even if you had half a brain in your head, if you rub a couple of brain cells together, all you have to do is just think about what it does to the economy when you want to get rid of a bunch of legal, people who have legally immigrated here and who've been paying taxes, right? Been paying taxes without the benefit of all kinds of other benefits that we get, just because they are paying off their immigration kind of fees that the government imposes. So if none of this is well thought out, none of it is smart. I don't know how so many people in this Project 2025 could be behind something like this, other than it leads my brain in the direction of thinking, oh, they must work for Putin. They must want to destroy our government from the inside out, which is why they installed the monster that's there, reincarnated Mussolini. We can call him Cheetolini too. Whoever made that up is just brilliant. So, but anyway, there's so much more I could talk about here, but I'll save it for tomorrow. Oh, except for these two little, see these semi-squares here? One's coming from the moon over to Ceres, and the other from the sun to Jupiter. So semi-squares bring in indecisions and friction. So people are going to be learning a lot today. People like you and I, we're going to be cheering things on that happened yesterday, or today actually, because I'm reading this on Easter. But other people will be learning for the first time, because the more people that speak up and out and keep doing it will get other people's attention. And no matter what we go through, more and more people are learning what's right and what's wrong, or that they're being triggered inside in the place where they already know what's right and what's wrong. And somewhere at that intersection of fuck around and find out, more people will go onto the side that's finding out, and then we get to this bigger place of where, you know, the blooming, the blossoming of who we truly are can come out. And it's always all about remembering who we truly are, right? We're not meant to be fighting with each other and hurting each other, not at all. So, and you know, as Saturn gets closer to Neptune, that'll happen July 30th. We'll have that exact conjunction. Saturn and Neptune will both be in Aries, and the masses will be having a much more focused and deeper understanding of the way government should be. Right now, with Saturn in Pisces at this late degree, it's almost at 27 degrees. We're at that stage of, you know, everything's coming up and out, and it's about the government's limitations and restrictions, but also the way that government could work for people, because Saturn can be a good thing. Saturn's about commitment, but what are we committed to? And that's going to be the question when it hits Neptune. So, okay, well, that's it for today. Be back tomorrow, you guys. Take good care. As always, bye.